Hey, welcome back to the new video. In this video, we are basically making a second challenge, and the second challenge for you guys is to make a simple UI like this, which have a simple app bar and images. Images assets will be down, uh, given there. What this app or this symbol challenge is about is whenever you click on the image, it should randomly generate you the rest of the image. In the last video, we already learnt about this dice game where we randomly uh, click on the dice which get or generates a random number on the clicking of that. On the same way or the same concept, the challenge for you people is to generate this random images on click of the button. So using a gesture detector and also using the assets that has been given below. Okay, let's begin with making the challenge 2 app where, as I told earlier, you're creating a simple random generating images. Okay, let's get started with making our challenge 2 video. In this video, as I told before or earlier, that we are just placing an image here. On the click of that image, we are just generating a random images. We already have imported a images which says yes, no, ask again later. The answer is yes, and I have no idea. This bunch of images has been exported, and the resources will be in the below session. And I've made sure that I have included asset in the pubspecs.yaml. So in the last video, I have explained how to do this, imported this images and all. If you didn't watch, go back to that video and just go through that. So I'll quickly explain what is there right now. So first I've imported the material which is necessary to import all the containers, scaffold and other widgets. So we have the main function which runs the app, which runs the material app. Inside that we made a debug show as false so that we don't get that banner right here. And we have this folder which is a plain blank screen. Inside that we have just added this app bar which is given with a title called ask me any questions, and we have changed the color, background color as black here, and given the text as a white, so it is having a good contrast where we can see. So all we have to do is, and inside the body we have just created one more widget that is a stateless widget called my app. So all we have to do is we just have to render an image right here. So let's return an image. How do we write an image? It's just simple. You have to write an image dot and asset. We are using asset because we already have an folder called images. From there we can just take the images out. So we want, let's try to display image 1. So go to the right click on that image, go to copy reference, copy the reference, paste right here and reload it, and you'll get an image which is good. And let's keep it as center. Whenever you want to keep it at center, you can just click on alt enter, or you'll get a button like icon here. When you hover on it, then you can just click on center, wrap the entire thing with the center, make sure you reform it, then it will be seated in the center. So what we want to make, on the click of this image, we want that to change into random images, right? We just have to change the image number. Right now it is in 1. We just have to change that in the randomly generating number. If you could remember in the last video, well, we are creating a dice app where we are randomly generating a number using two important things. One is a important math library, and second one is we have used the variable to manipulate the data. First, let's concentrate on clicking on this and try to print something. So let's wrap the image with the widget called gesture detector. So make sure you are reformatting the whole that code. Just make a little bit right here. Okay, it's look good now. So what this gesture detector does is when we click on this, it is going to detect something, and we have a property called on tap. So if I just go here and click on control space, where we'll get a bunch of things where we can do with the gesture detector. On top is one of the feature that we can work. So on tap we have to do some activities. On tap of this image we can do anything. For now we want to change an image. So for now, as if you are a beginner, let's try to print something, print a output and see how it works. So on tap, which takes a function. If you could remember, in a function, as I taught you people back, there's a named function and anonymous function. Here we always tend to write an anonymous function which doesn't have the name. If a function have the name, we just name it as a named function. If it doesn't, we just call it as anonymous, which takes a parenthesis followed by the curly braces. Clear? So let's try to print a statement called the image is clicked and see if it is working, and make sure each sentence have to be ended with the semicolon. And the moment when we click on this, in the output, where right here the image is clicked, you can see the in the console we are getting a print statement that is image is clicked. Okay, we have successfully created this clicking action, where if you click on the image, something have to be done. So we have created a function which is just printing a statement called the image is clicked. But what we want, when we click on this image, we want to change the image from 1 to 2, or randomly we have to generate that. Let's say from image 1 to image 2 you have to convert it, or you have to change that. So what is the one thing that we are making use? The first thing you have to know, whenever you are handling something, whenever you create a widget which is handling a data, what you have to do, instead of using a stateless widget, you have to make sure you are using a stateful widget. Okay, so let's remove this, and instead of using a stateless widget, let's use a stateful widget and name it as my app, and replace it with the old code that we have made. So you don't have to do this again and again, like changing into stateless to stateful. You just have to understand what is the widget that you are dealing. If that widget has a static data, make sure that is inside the stateful widget. And as I told in the last class, there's a two parts in a stateful widget. The first part is just a widget part, and second part is something which holds on to the data. It is like it is holding up a data. Whenever there's a change in the data, it is going to rebuild the data. So what we'll do here, we'll first create a variable. And what is that variable? And the variable that we are passing here is a number. What do I mean by a variable? See, the whole image, if you could see, everything is same. We just have to change a number from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, which means we just have to have this track of this number. So the variable that we are storing, which always have to be returning the type of int, right? And let's name it as image number. We are actually creating a variable where we are storing a number, and whenever you want to put a variable inside a string, what you'll do, you'll follow a string interpolation, which is nothing but you'll have the $, which is followed by the variable name. Here we are. When I hit control and save, it will be in the same. If I just change it from 2 to 5 and save, it will be changed it from S to the, I have no idea. Similarly, if I try to change from 5 to 2 and if I hit save, it will be changed it to the some other thing. Okay, and always remember the variable have to be inside the this build widget, because as I told earlier, the build, what it does is it just see wherever the change is done, and it is trying to rebuild the whole thing. So it have to be inside here. So the next thing what we have to do here is, as I click on the image, I want to change it to the number I wanted. Okay, like not I wanted, the user can when the user click, it is just like a random number of generation. For now, let's reload. It is in the 2 number. When I change it, I want to set the whole state to the let's say 5. How do I set the change? I'll just go to the on tab. I'll use this set state function, where what it does, set status, it is just changing the state from 2 to what variable I want to. I'm just manipulating the variable. I want this image number to be 5. The moment I'll just hot reload, hot restart, sorry. The moment when I do hot restart, it go back to the initial, that is it will be in the 2. When on click, it have to be changed to the 5. But if you could see, the image is clicked, which means it is changed. But let's say is that change it to the number. Let's check for the image number also, image number, and let hit save and reload it. As far I know, it will be in the image 2. When I click on here, it will be changed to 5, but it is not updating the UI, which means that we are not properly doing something. It is because, see, I told I kept this variable inside this build because I wanted to reload it again and again. But what will happen here, when I do on tap, it goes back again and it sets to the 2. So what do you learn here is, you should not keep your variable inside the build. You have to keep it inside the my state widget, I mean the part of the data manipulating. So in the last few minutes back, I told you have to keep that inside the build, which is wrong, because there'll be little problem because when I click on, if I place it right here below the build context, what will it happen when I change the number here, it go back again to build again, right? So it will be an huge mistake. So try to always keep the variable here. So now if I try to click on the image, it will change from 2 to 5. So I'm able to do that. Okay, the next thing what I have to do is, since I'm hard coding everything, hard coding from 2 to 5, it have to change. Because of that, it is changing, but I want to generate it randomly. So what I'll do, instead of using 5, I'll say I want a random number to be generated. So how do we get the random number? We already have a package called math. That is a package from the Flutter called a math Flutter map. That is math from the Dart, not from the package. So Dart math, which is here. After important, come here. So what we are do, let's keep the initially let it be like a 1 or 2, anything. But when we click on this, we want that randomly generated. So let's just replace 5, which is hard coded number, to the math dot random dot next int, because we are generating a number, and you have to tell maximum how much you want to create, which is a 5. But we don't have a 0. See, I'll tell you what will be the problem. I'll just save it and I'll try to do this. But at one point, it is saying unable to load the asset where the image /ball0 png is not available, because as I told, this random next int always generate a number which is from 0 to the maximum what we have given, 5. But in our case, we don't have a 0 image, right? Ball0 png is not available. So to generate a number from 1 to 5, what we have to do, we just have to change index from 0 to 1. The moment when we do this, and if we hit on, if we just run it again, now if I click on the images, I can get a randomly generated images from 1 to 6. So we are done with the challenge. So this is basically a simple app where you can ask any question. Let's say, can we just move on to the next video, and click on it? Yes, it's just a random, I didn't plan for anything. So let's go on to the next video.